Black women. A while back, I was working at this job, right? And it was a temporary job. It wasn't anything permanent. It was temporary, and I needed the money, and it was pretty cool. And there were some people there that they were all doing pretty much temp work. It was a company that was it was like a startup company, and I pretty much kind of formed a bond with some with some ladies that were working there. And there were a couple of black guys there that had kind of like became friends, with some of us. I wasn't really like interested in them or anything like that. But here's the thing that kind of really, it left me in a state of bewilderness, right? So what happened was that it was during break time, and there was this black guy. I mean, I don't know. I guess he for whatever reason, I caught his eye, and I wasn't interested in him at all, right? So he starts, talking to me, and I don't like to be rude to people, especially when I'm working, because I don't want to, cause any trouble on the job. So I'm very, very cautious with that. But he started, talking about his ex-wife, and he was showing me pictures of his children. And, how do I say this? Like, okay, like his ex-wife, right? She was a white lady, right? And he had 2 kids with her. And I don't know, I don't know what it is about black guys, but they love to show you pictures of their girlfriends and ex-wives and their kids. I don't understand that. Let me tell you something. If I ever have children, which I will in the future, I'm not going to be, I don't know. I believe in kind of keeping things kind of private. I wouldn't show strangers pictures of my children for personal reasons, but it's weird. But he started saying, like, I'm looking at the pictures like he had on his cell phone, right? I really didn't want to talk to this guy, but for whatever reason, I don't know, he targeted me, right? So he starts to say, oh yeah, one good thing I like about, white women, they clean a brother up, they lift a brother up, and they really work with you. They work with you. They lift you up and they work with you, and he was smiling and showing me pictures of his ex-wife. She was a white lady. I got to give credit where credit is due. She was very attractive, and he had 2 mixed race children. And I love kids. They were cute kids, right? But I was wondering, like, why are you showing me these pictures? Why are you talking to me about, your ex-wife? And then he had the nerve, when it was all said and done, he had the nerve to ask me for my number. He asked me if he could call me and take me out. And so 2 things came to my mind, right? 2 things. I didn't tell him anything. Like I said, I didn't want to cause any trouble on the job, and it was a temporary job, and I needed the money, and I didn't want to get fired, and I was working at a temp place, so I wanted to make sure that I got more assignments. And this was like right after, I got out of college, right? So I'm thinking to myself 2 things. Number one, if your ex-wife was all that, why is she your ex-wife? And number 2, what the fuck are you doing talking to me? I got nothing for you. I'm just like, why the fuck are you, like, why are you trying to come back home? I don't want anything to do with you, right? And then, it kind of lingered in my mind for a long, long time. I mean, certain things happen in my life, certain things I hear, certain things I see, certain things that people tell me. And depending on what it is, it lingers on in my mind for a long, long, long time, right? So it finally dawned on me that, you got two types of black guys, right? You got the black guys that, the ones that realize, you know, my descendants are probably not going to look like me, so let me just kind of cover my ass and let me just find some black woman that can give me a couple of black kids just to keep the integrity of the black race, still going, If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's kind of like, I see America by the year 2080, the black community is going to be pretty much swallowed up. And if you look at, I always like to use the NBA and the NFL as an example. We all know that black men dominate sports for now. But by the year 2080, the NFL and the NBA is going to look a lot like Blake Griffin or Derek Jeter, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. And I think a lot of black men realize that the more they have children that are mixed race, the more lighter and whiter over the next 2, 3, 4 decades, you're just going to see a loss of the external physical characteristics of what makes a Negro a Negro. And so I think you got these black guys that, they see that and they're just kind of like, you know what? Let me just kind of cover my ass and find, some black chick that, I can have a couple of black kids with just to keep the integrity of the black race. There's this guy on Good Morning America. He's got like a gap tooth. I don't know what the fuck his name is, but he's on Good Morning America, and he's got 2 kids by a black woman and 2 kids by like a white woman, right? And then I look at this basketball player. I forgot what his name is because I really don't follow sports, but he's supposed to be the cousin of Kendrick Lamar, and he used to date this white rapper named Izzy Azalea. I don't follow her, but she's from Australia, and I don't think they got married, but he's got 3 kids by a black chick. And then, I look at all these other, black guys that, they've got these black children from these black women that they, maybe they'll marry them, maybe they won't, but then they got these mixed race kids. Sorry, it's downtown LA, and this is party town 24 hours a day. So I'm sorry for the noise in the background, but it got me started to thinking that I'm thinking that okay, this guy at the job, I got the funny feeling he was looking for some black chick he could hook up with. Maybe to have some kids with or something. I think a lot of black guys, like I said before, they realize that the whitening up of the black race is happening at a very accelerating speed. Let's just face it, it's a reality. Mixed race people are here to stay. There's more and more of them that are going to be coming into the world over the next 2, 3, 4 decades. And so the external physical characteristics of the black community is going to be dramatically different. We're going to be like the coloreds in South Africa. It's just, you're not going to see a lot of, how do you say, authentic looking Negro people by the year 2080. So what is this, 2019? 29, 39, 49, 59, 69, 79, in 61 years, it's going to be completely different. The black community is just going to be, it's not going to be a black community, it's going to be mixed race white. So, and I think a lot of black guys, they see that. So, and it just, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong, but I got away from this guy. I didn't want to have anything to do with him. And plus, once I found out that he was married and divorced and had kids, what the fuck do I want to, get involved with some bullshit like that? Let me just say something right now. I don't want to be the stepmother to any mixed race children that a black man had with somebody else. I don't want to deal with a non-black ex-wife and a non-black baby mama. If I'm going to have to put up with some shit like that, I'd rather do it with another black woman. I don't know. That's just how I think. That's just how I am. Some of you guys may think it's weird, crazy. You may think it's ignorant. You may think it's, crazy thinking, but that's just how I think. That's just the way that it is. So, I'm telling you this, if a black guy pulls out his cell phone and starts showing you pictures of his non-black ex-wife and non-black ex-girlfriends and he's got mixed race kids, just get the fuck away from him. Really, seriously. You don't want to get caught up in that bullshit. The last thing you don't want to get, you don't want those kids to get mad at you one day and say, you know what, you ain't my mama, you're black, and I don't have to listen to you, and I don't have to do anything. I don't even like you, all that kind of shit. And then you may, the ex-wife, the mom, she may have some racial problems with black women. You really don't want to get involved with that kind of bullshit. You really don't. You really don't. Just, just stay the fuck away from these guys. The way I look at it, once they jump the fence, leave their ass there. Once they make a choice, to jump the fence, to be with those ladies of other races, leave them there, and it's like, stay where you are, continue on that path. Don't bring your ass back home. I mean, let me tell you something right now. I ain't coming back. I'm gone. I have no interest in black men. I want nothing to do with them at all, period. But I was really pissed off at this guy. He had the nerve to rub this shit in my face, and then he asked me for my number. I'm like, fuck you. I'm thinking in my mind, fuck you. Fuck you from the front, the back, the left, the right, up, down, and all the way around. Fuck you. I don't want to get involved with your fucking bullshit. Are you crazy? Because I'm thinking to myself, you get involved with this guy. How do you know he's gotten it out of his system? And then, you got a couple of kids with him, then he fucking dumps you and he goes back over the fence. Now, fuck that bullshit. Like I said before, I might have been born last night, but I stayed up the whole fucking time. And everybody in my family has always told me, ever since I was a kid, I'm an old soul. I just see shit coming down. I see it coming down the road. I see shit a mile away. So yeah, just be very careful, black women. You got a lot of black guys, for whatever reason, they want to jump back over and come back home. Fuck that shit. You made your choice. You exercised your choice and your preference. Keep it moving. Stay over there. Don't jump, don't flip-flop and come back and forth. Stay your ass over there, You break up with one non-black woman. Okay, you find yourself another non-black woman. You have some more mixed race kids, but don't bring that shit back over here. It's like, and see, a lot of black women are going to get sucked up into that, because, a lot of black women in this country, they feel like, okay, I don't have any other options, what else am I going to do? Fuck that. I keep telling you guys, you got 3.1 billion men on this planet. Get yourself a passport. Get yourself a U.S. passport card. I paid $183 for mine. Start making preparations to get overseas. Fuck this shit. It's over. I refuse to have to get caught up in that bullshit. I don't want to deal with it. I really don't. If I'm gonna have to deal with mixed race children, I want them to be my own. Okay. That's just how I see it. So, if you're out, if you're at a club, if you're at a restaurant, if you're at the gym, I don't care where you are. If you are having some sort of conversation with some black dude and he starts telling you, well, I got a couple of kids and let me show you a picture of my children, and then once you see all that shit, just, be nice, because a lot of black guys don't like rejection, so just be nice. Oh, well, I'm not really interested. Just keep it moving, because it's going to be a whole lot of fucking drama. It's going to be a whole lot of fucking drama. And I told you guys this before. You got a lot of non-black women that are partial racists. They don't have a problem fucking, sucking, dating, marrying, and procreating with black men, but they are very racist, bigoted, and prejudiced against black women. And you don't want to get caught up in that bullshit. You don't want to be the second, third, or fourth wife to a dude that, might have had been married to a woman of another race. They got kids, and then, arguments come about, discord comes about, problems in your marriage, and just all kinds of shit. Avoid all of that. As soon as you see that shit, I know a lot of you guys, you love black men, and you still have this hope that you can find one. But, once you find out that these guys have jumped the fence and they've built families with these women, for whatever reason, their relationships didn't work out, just leave them alone. Don't fucking get involved with them, if you really want to be with a black guy, I would suggest, try somebody in Africa. But even then, it's like, you know what? I went to college with a lot of African guys, and, they were cool. I don't have a problem with them. But one of the things that I'm noticing, a lot of African men prefer, white or Asian ladies. I see that a lot among African men. And it's like, your best bet is just to, just date out. I keep telling you guys, you either date out or you die out, right? You got one of three fucking options. If you're going to stay in this country, you're going to, look, the chances of you finding what you're looking for in this country, it's zero. I'm serious. You stay in this country, you're going to grow old and die alone. Or you're going to end up being a carpet muncher. Now, I'm not homophobic or anything. I'm very open-minded, but, I'm heterosexual. I like men. So I know that if I stay in this country, I'm going to end up dying alone with a bunch of cats eating my toes off until somebody discovers my decomposed body. Or I'm going to end up being a carpet muncher, in a what they call a situational lesbian relationship. Just to avoid all that, I'm going to take my chances overseas. That's why I took money out of my pocket and got my passport. Best fucking investment I ever made. So, that's what I just want to tell you guys. You got a lot of guys that, they pretty much want to use some black women, as a mule, a sex mule, to kind of, have, black babies to keep the integrity of the black race going. Don't be a mule. Don't be a sex mule. Don't get used. Don't get caught up in that bullshit, right? Just don't do it. Think big and move forward. And if you meet a black guy and you find out, like I said before, if you find out that he's been married and divorced and, his ex is non-black and they got kids, it's going to be problems. It's going to be a lot of problems. It's going to be a lot of, problems. Just leave that shit alone. Walk away. Really, seriously. I'm giving you some really good advice. I'm an old soul in a young body, so I'm out. Take care.